Hi, I'm David Johnson, and this is Verse by Verse. How good is your imagination? For just a moment, try imagining a world where people minimized or ignored one of the basic sciences, concluding it was little more than superstition. Say, for example, that leading scientists felt chemistry had little value for understanding the world, and some even went so far as to say that chemistry was so filled with error that it had become dangerous and should be eliminated from any serious consideration. You could study physics or astronomy or biology or geology, but chemistry was just a leftover vestige of a time when people were ignorant and superstitious about anything they couldn't readily explain. Schools would carefully avoid any reference to chemistry, and if a teacher said anything about it, the errant instructor would be reprimanded and forbidden to bring it up again. The average person could probably continue living his or her life without thinking about chemistry very often. After all, when was the last time you really needed to know that water molecules are composed of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom? If it doesn't impact my life, why think about it? In such a world, how easy would it be to understand the processes that shape our lives? How reliable would scientific explanations be when the scientists refuse to consider the basic laws of chemistry? How easy would it be to truly know what was true and what was false, what was helpful and what was harmful, if the knowledge of chemistry were willfully ignored? But why would anyone want to reject the knowledge of chemistry? That's a good question. Doing such a thing would be like turning off the light and then trying to read a book in a darkened room. Without light, it really doesn't matter how helpful the book might be. You're blinded by your self-imposed darkness. Understanding the laws and processes of chemistry is so intrinsic to our ability to function that it's difficult to even imagine what life would be like. While it might seem like it's difficult to imagine such a world, it actually isn't difficult at all. You see, we already live in that world. No, it's not exactly like that. We've not rejected the science of chemistry, but we have willfully rejected another field of knowledge and refused to even consider what insights it might provide. And we've done that not because we've proven it faulty, but simply because we don't like what it says. Perhaps we can take some small transient comfort in realizing we're not the first society to make this self-defeating mistake. 2,000 years ago, at the center of the most powerful, most educated Western civilization then in existence, a Jewish teacher named Paul of Tarsus incisively described a society that insisted upon retaining its ignorance of the most important knowledge available. As he described the results of this voluntary ignorance, his descriptions sound like they came from today's media. He summarized the issue in one fundamental concept. Romans 1, verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind, to do those things which are not fitting. The words that follow describe a social structure mired in personal immorality and nonsensical decisions, spiraling out of control and reaping the natural results of myopic moral choices. The God whose counsel was purposely rejected did not need to bring special punishments on those who thought they didn't need his guidance. He simply allowed the natural consequences of their foolishness to continue unabated to its conclusion. For thousands of years, this process has continued from society to society, from culture to culture, and nothing you or I can do today is going to change that pattern. But that doesn't mean we can't take a different course in our own lives. If a failure to value and retain the knowledge of God leads to the inability to make good decisions, imagine what could happen if we deliberately chose to seek out and embrace that knowledge. If disrespecting and minimizing the knowledge of God leads God to withdraw from guiding a person, imagine what he would do for one who's determined to discover and live by the truth he offers. If you're ready to incorporate God's revealed knowledge into your life, our website, lifehopeandtruth.com, can help. Are you curious about a particular subject? The search bar will allow you to discover a variety of resources. On the other hand, if you'd like to consider a more systematic approach, just click on the Learning Center icon, and you'll find several helpful options. And as always, all of these materials are offered free of charge. Just imagine what the knowledge of God could do for you.
If you've been enjoying Verse by Verse and want to help the show grow, here's what you can do to get the word out. Wherever you're listening, make sure to subscribe. If you're on a platform that accepts reviews and ratings, those can both make a big difference in helping other people find us. Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.